What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I am going to go over a bunch of stuff about the Altar of Souls, mainly around the strategies and reasonings I use and apply towards this kind of resource that we all really need. I mean, blessings are a huge thing in this game. Also, I did pick up a massive upgraded blessing for one of my key champions, so I wanted to upgrade and share that with you guys here in this video as well as go over some just general strategies on how best to maximize your return from this Altar of Souls. What I would like you guys to do is, if you guys had your own way of actually handling the Altar of Souls and the resources in it, let me know in the comments below. There's no right way to play this game, so I love to hear what everyone is doing, but if my goal was to maximize the amount of 6-star souls on champions that I use, I feel like my strategy is probably still the best, as opposed to some of the other strategies I've been hearing around. But anyways, guys, let's have a chat about it, and yeah, let's get right to the video. So here, we're going to go into the Altar of Souls, and in the awakening box, we do have my Siphi ready to be 6-star awakened here. I did buy her 6-star blessing here. I built her up from 1-star all the way to 6-star. I was able to get her to 5-star a long time ago, and I decided to stop. The main reason why I decided to stop building her out to 6 stars was because I decided to start focusing on Hydra. This was about the time where I started losing a little bit of interest in arena and PvP, maybe about 9 months ago, and my Siphi was ready. My Siphi was stuck at 5 stars, and I just kind of left her there. This felt kind of wasted because the 5-star wasn't super useful for a champion like her. Having the 6-star would be massively important. What I did in those basically 9 months was basically I 6-star my Trunda, and obviously Trunda is very important for those Hydra teams to do more damage. So Trunda took the front seat and got all the resources, and ever since then I've basically just been saving up my resources. Now with these big blessings, guys, it does require you to use these big eternal soul essence. Now these are very scarce, especially if you're free to play. You don't buy, you don't spend any money on this system, on this resource. These are very scarce. Now, mathematically speaking, if you do Iron Twins every day and twice on Sunday, you're looking at about 50 a month. You're looking at about 50 of these essences a month. And if you're going to buy a 6-star in the shop, it's going to cost you 300. So theoretically, it's going to take you 6 months of grinding this every day from Iron Twins to accumulate enough to buy the 6-star. Don't forget, you need to buy the 5-star as well. So 2 more months added to that. So 8 months of continuous grinding the Iron Twins to accumulate enough resources to build a 5- and 6-star champion. Now, that doesn't include any events, right? You're going to get some additional resources from events, some random places. You're going to get these this eternal soul essence as well. So you can chop down your time a little bit, but it's going to take you that long just to get the resources. So obviously for a 6-star champion, you have to really be committed to that champion. And I think having this decision is very important. You have to really come to terms with what you want to do with your account. Now, for myself, a 6-star Siphi, my Siphi is basically only used for PvP. I don't use her for PvE at all. I don't have a 6-star support champion, basicons. My Mikage I pulled 6-star. That was super lucky. Obviously, a 6-star mythical soul is incredibly lucky. But champions I've built over time. I built my Rhodos over time. I built my Taras over time. My Harima over time. So these, and my Trunda over time. So I built 4 damage dealers up to 6 over time. Now, Siphi would be my only support champion up to 6. And the reason why I chose Siphi was because of her role in my live arena roster. Basically, she is my fastest champion on my roster. She'll definitely benefit from the 6-star, giving her additional speed. And she's my speed booster. I use her all the time. That's the thing. I use her all the time, mainly because she pairs really well with Rhodos. And Rhodos is one of my strongest damage dealers on my account. So I use her all the time. As long as I play arena or live arena, Siphi will be used on my account. So I was thinking a 6-star for her, I would never regret. And the fact that she is the fastest champion on my account, she'll benefit greatly from some additional speed from the 6-star bonus. So let's get that going. Let's 6-star her on camera here. So here we go. We got the 6-star Siphi. Boom. Big upgrade. And like I said, guys, like, you know, this system's been out for, you know, probably about 2 years now. About 2 years now, guys. And I've only 6-starred, you know, 5 champions, building them up from 1 star. So, you know, obviously I grind everything in this game. I get all the big resources, especially the ones that are more scarce. The more scarce the resource, the harder I'll go for it, because I can't get it any other way, right? So for me, I got the 6-star Siphi, the 6-star Rotos, 6-star Taras, 6-star Harima, and 6-star Trenda. So I got 5 6-star champions built up from 1 star, and then of course the Mikage I pulled, which is absolutely insane. But I guess the point I wanted to make was that when you're deciding your 6-star champion, you must make sure that, one, you get a lot of use of this champion. So if you're basically free to play, low spend, you don't spend a lot of money on soul stones, etc., you have to make sure that your impact with that 6-star soul on the champion is, you know, going to be benefiting your account, and, you know, benefiting a lot wherever you want to use that account. So wherever you want to use that champion, sorry. So ideally, if you only have to choose one, ideally that champion can fit Arena, can fit Hydra, and it has to be a significant benefit. So for example, you can kind of take a look at my roster here. There are some champions that can really benefit from 6-star blessing. For example, Thor. Thor I use, you know, pretty exclusively in Hydra. He's a great champion overall. If you have Thor and Thor is one of your best champions, like, he definitely deserves a 6-star as well. But for me, he's strictly a Hydra champion. For Hydra, he would do more damage. He would be faster. The thing is, I don't use Thor very often. I don't only use him on one team in Hydra, and that's about it. There's other champions that are kind of similar to that. Like, for example, here's another example with a different condition. Artak. Artak, I have him at 5 stars. We got this, you know, from an event, and he fulfills his role perfectly fine. He farms dungeons perfectly fine with the 5-star soul. Does he need a 6-star soul? Sure, right? It makes building him out a little bit easier, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary, therefore you don't need him to be anything higher. I believe the PvP champions, ideally, that can, you know, kind of double duty as PvE champions, should be the best. For example, somebody like Taras. I use Taras a lot. Obviously, he's in my arena squad. He's in my Hydra teams. He does a ton of damage. Harima was also fulfilling that role as well. She was in my Hydra stuff. She was in my live arena or arena stuff. So she definitely deserves the 6-star. Trenda, of course, the 6-star is going to be a massive damage boost for her main role, which is going to be Hydra. Now, moving forward, looking ahead, my next 6-star would be Marius. And the only reason why I decided to spend the resources on Siphi right now is because my Marius is so far away from being 6-starred. I do have the resources to 4 and 5-star him. And the 6-star, I can just sell some spare souls, and I'll have enough to 6-star him. Let's say, for example, I get all his souls in a week. I can definitely get the resources to get his 6-star, but he's going to be an automatic 6-star for me. But Marius is a perfect example of a champion that you want to 6-star right away. He's awesome in PvE content, awesome in PvP content, so you basically use him everywhere. And having the 6-star for him will just give your account tons and tons of value, play value, and all that stuff. And you'll benefit from all of it, right? From all his additional stats and all his power. So these are just things to consider when you are looking for, you know, heavy investment champions, right? So anyways, I want to give you guys a couple quick pointers here on basically how to accumulate or how to keep a little bit more of these resources, or how to have basically more chances at higher souls. So first off, what you want to do is, if you have your Marius missions done, so this is a big thing, because during the Marius missions, there's actually missions that require you to awaken certain levels during the quest. Okay, so when you have the quest active, it might say awaken a champion to 4 stars. So you must have a 4-star soul, you know, chilling out, ready to awaken whatever champion. But if you're done all those missions, what you should do is probably awaken all your champions that you have souls for. The reason why, sorry, let me rephrase that. You want to awaken all the champions that you have souls for, that you want to use or are useful. You don't want to wait on that, because what happens is that if you wait on it, so for example, I have Fabian, right? I'm ready for Fabian. I can, you know, do it anytime. I can do it anytime. But ideally you do it a little bit quicker, because what you want to avoid, like I have a 345 ready for Fabian. What you want to avoid is having the Fabian soul show up in the shop and take up a slot here, because we know that this shop slot is very important, right? Every slot you want to have the chance at the champions that you actually want. So by having the souls already on Fabian, that kind of takes away the option for the small soul. So right now, if I don't awaken Fabian, I can see a Fabian 1-star soul, and that's a total waste of a slot here. I know I'm picking at, I'm really nitpicking here, but this is like, you don't want to see that. And it's very easy to avoid that just by basically awakening the champion. It's very easy. I just need to ascend them. But, just my reasoning there. You want to ascend these champions right away. The other tip I got for you guys right now is this summon pool. So if you guys are familiar with this system, the summon pool or the Prism summon pool events are basically events that give you a certain pool of champions souls that you can get, but you have to have these special blue prism crystals. So for example, in the calendar right now, there's something called a Mighty Soul Summon Pool event that's going to happen, I guess, tomorrow. But basically during this event, you have a much smaller pool of champions that you can get souls for, but you need this this blue crystal here, right? So what I'm doing is I'm basically not collecting the blue prism crystal in the events where you get them. So here currently we have where is it? Oh, sorry, we have a training tournament. We have a training tournament that's active right now that has this crystal here. So what you would do is, if you wanted to avoid the existing prism pool, is that you would reach this threshold and then not collect it. Let the event expire, let the pool expire, and then that blue crystal would just end up here. And then you'll have it saved for the next day or the next pool. So you see here, I have a summon pool tab active. This is from a previous pool and it already has a red dot. That means there is a soul in here. I can click this and claim the soul right away. What you want to do is perhaps you want to save that for a soul chase, for example, so you can get some additional rewards. So here is the ultimate reason why you want to leave this red dot here. Think of the red dot as like a plug. So this red dot occurred because during the previous Prism Soulstone Summon Pool, it auto pulled. So usually it auto pulls if you have enough to pull, basically one soul from the Prism system. But here, think of this red dot as a plug. So furthermore, if I were to get more and more of these Prism materials, what you could do is basically stack these up, and during a desirable Prism summon pool, you could release the plug, and then all of your soul stones could go into the desired Prism pool. It's a little bit of a super long-term strategy, but it's one of the few ways that a player can actually kind of manipulate the system in their favor. Otherwise, there's no way for you to gain any kind of advantage in this kind of system, mainly because it auto pulls. It auto pulls as soon as you have enough. But this is one of the ways that you can kind of prevent that from being a negative and change it into an advantage. All right, so another thing that I actually do that I think most people don't really like or don't understand, or they kind of ask me why, is because I keep basically a lot of my mythical souls. I keep a lot of souls. Look at my inbox. My inbox is pretty massive. I don't have any of these champions, but I keep, multiples of each one. Why do I do that? So people ask me why, and then they think that I should be selling them so that I have more coins so that I can gamble with, perhaps buying soul stones when it's boosted odds and all that. So here's my question to the community. What do you guys do in terms of buying soul stones versus saving? For me, I'm all about saving these so that I can guarantee myself the chance of getting my 6-star blessings for my key champions. Because if you're gambling on the Immortal Soulstone or the big soulstones with the coins that you get from selling all of these, there's no guarantee that you really get anything out of it. You might get a bunch of epics. You could just get random stuff. So for me, I think as a non-spender, it's not easy to get these resources. At least having the guarantee at the end of the tunnel makes it kind of worth it. But of course, you guys let me know what your strategies are on this kind of section here. So for me, I save all of these souls and I will only sell them if I have to buy something in the shop. So for example, if I had, the 6-star Marius and I needed, essences right away, this is when I'm going to start cleaning house. Obviously, I'm not going to pull 3 Commoduses, all right? So I'm going to be selling the 3 and the 4. But the reason why I keep them in this form is because it kind of just prevents me from kind of having a bad day and just, going, hey, I'm just going to max out and buy all these stones and just go all in. You know what I mean? Trust me, I have inklings of doing that because I can buy quite a bit of these if I start selling off some of these. But honestly, this is like my savings. This is my savings, like my emergency funds. If I ever needed emergency essences to buy a blessing that I really, really need from the shop, that's where I'll go. This is where I'll go. This is the farm. This is the farm where I keep all my extra stuff, and then that's where I'll convert it into the coins to buy stuff. But of course, you guys let me know what your strategies are in regards to saving, selling, and gambling with those stones. I would love to hear it. Lastly, guys, I'm going to leave you guys here with a little bit of math. Some of you guys may or may not know this, but it's always good to have a reminder of how crazy this soulstone system is. Math courtesy of a Sphere from HH Gaming, of course. This is very, very old data mine information, but here we go. We can go over it here really quickly. So we got, if you do Iron Twins stage 15 every day, so just quickly looking over some of the math here. So if you're doing the Iron Twins every day, and then actually just one set of keys on Void. So if you're doing double set of keys on Void, it's going to be a little bit more than this, but you're looking at about 27,000 coins, which is the equivalent of 27 of those little mortal soul stones, right? So, and then you're also looking at 129 of these T1 essences, so that's the silver one, and then 54 of the big ones. So like I was saying, you get roughly about 50 of the big ones per month, and that's where the number 6 months to make the 300 and then 2 extra months to make the 100. So total 8 months of saving, daily grinding to get enough of the big essences for the 6-star soul. So what does that translate into? Like I said, 27.6 monthly soul stones from the Iron Twins. That's doing Void once, so you can invest gems to do more. And then the big thing here that you must note is Hydra. How much Hydra actually gives you in terms of soul stones in a month. 67 soul stones if you can complete the hard, brutal, and nightmare difficulty. So even if you can only do normal and hard, you're still getting a significant chunk. You're still getting a significant chunk, guys. So make sure you guys do Hydra. Hydra is a much bigger focus than Iron Twins. Just an example, right? So make sure you guys focus on Hydra, get those soul stones from Hydra. And this is kind of how you build up the resources so that, you have souls, you can gamble for things, you can, get higher blessings on your champions. And then of course you can sell those blessings for resources so you can save for blessings you actually want. But it's good to have a refresher on some of this math and the statistics and what we're kind of up against. This system is a massive long-term system. It's not super friendly or anything like that. But, for me, the system is about 2 years old. And like I said, I've built 5 6-star champions from scratch now, and I have enough to build a 6th one pretty much right away. So, it's a super long-term grind, and unfortunately it's not very flexible. So if the meta changes and the champion that you invested in no longer is used, it's tough to swallow. It's tough to swallow, especially when you work so hard for it. But the blessings are massive boosts, right? They're as effective as basically empowerment. A 6-star blessing is almost as good as +4 empowerment. It's massive. So it's definitely something that we have to have on our radar and something that we need to focus on and all that stuff. Hopefully this video was a little bit insightful. Like I said, I want this to be a little bit more of a discussion piece. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This strategy works for me. I know it's not going to work for everybody, but it is the long-term mentality of getting something guaranteed as opposed to, gambling it up. Of course, I like gambling too, but you got to do it within reason, right? Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Hopefully this was enjoyable and educational and yeah, all that good stuff. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.